The bigger they are, the harder they fall. And that phrase is perfect to describe what a massive content
Yeah, that bigger you are, bigger targets you have on your back.
creator gets into controversy bad enough to end their career. But when it comes to PirateSoftware,
one thing I've learned, don't lie, because it's like bad karma. It'll come back and bite you in the rear end. I choose to tell the truth.
he wasn't just a big content creator. He was someone who managed to blow up from 13,000 subscribers all the way to 1.1 million in less than 2 months, taking over the YouTube Shorts algorithm at some point, and even making over $50,000 in one Twitch stream.
Yipes.
However, he also managed to lose all of that just as fast. His actions didn't just make him unlikable, but it exposed him, both as a brand and as a person, making people realize that they had subscribed to him over lies or exaggerations, and that he never showed his true self until now. You've no doubt somehow heard about this already. So many people.
Oh, and if you're a troll who wants to troll me, I laugh at you. Because you never truly watch the video, and you just troll, so here's your laugh. I don't care. But I like the truth, and I'm on no one's side, to let you guys know. I'm not even on my own parents' side, so I only like truth and justice.
People are talking about him because it's that much of a crazy story, and so I thought of making a video going back to the first ever incident and how it led us here today. So without further ado, let's do this. Alright, so the first question to even ask here is, where the hell did PirateSoftware even come from? Well, he created his channel in 2016, and while his channel would grow over the years, it would do so in a very slow manner, reaching 13,000
That's typically, when you start, it doesn't mean a whole lot.
Subscribers after 7 years. But then, at the end of October 2023, he would take a decision that would change his life forever.
I want to know what it was.
And that would be uploading highlights of his Twitch streams as YouTube Shorts. These were such
Man, they look kind of boring.
an incredible
And the fact that he was a fake developer really hit the nail on the coffin.
success that for a while they took over the YouTube Shorts algorithm. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised at all if a huge portion of you watching this video right now came across these shorts on your own time. The views speak for themselves, with tens of millions of people being exposed to his channel for the first time and liking it. But how did he manage to do that when so many others couldn't? Well, many different shorts actually share the same factors. All you have to do is just watch one to understand the appeal. This short right here, titled Social Engineering, has every single one of these factors combined. So let's take a look at it and then I'll explain. Watch.
So when I worked at Blizzard, I had to do a social engineering task where I had to hit customer support.
Also, go to the description. You'll find his video right off the bat. Man, trolls can never find that first part of the description.
And I had to get 50 questions answered. And let me tell you, I got my questions answered. I shouldn't have. That was the problem. They're not supposed to answer those. And one of the things that I found that was really interesting is people that had been there for 1 year were really, really hard to trick. But people that had been there for 5 years were really easy to trick.
The thing is, when you've been there for 5 years, it becomes much tougher, especially if you're dealing with it all the time. For me, I'm very hard to trick at this point.
What have we learned? We've learned that training is the issue. Everybody that actually worked at the company got training in their first year and then they never got training again. So they became complacent, exactly. The director of CS came and he said, I want the names. And I said, I'm not giving you the names. You're just going to fire those people. And he goes, I'm going to go to your boss. I was like, do it. My boss is like, you got the names? I was like, yeah. And he goes, you going to give them to him? I was like, no. And he goes, he's not going to give you the
This is probably a bunch of lies. Thing is, after a while, you get used to the system and then you'll find out the real truth and you get used to people.
names, bud. And then I sat down and was look, I'm not giving you the names because if I did, you'd fire all of these people that are your best employees, the ones that have been here the longest. And in 4 years, you will have the exact same problem with the people that are newbies right now. The issue is not the employees, it's your training regimen. I sat down with him. We created a new 6-month training
Thing is, you're going to set up a program and it's going to catch all of them.
regimen. Guess what? I went back about a year later, did the same thing. All those people passed with flying colors. Not a single one of them answered my questions.
Well, there you have it. The deep voice, with the confidence and eloquence in his speech, as well as the whiteboard he was drawing on at the bottom that was meant to soothe any...
That deep voice is more likely voice editing software. You can pay $20 for it for eternity. Means you only pay 20 bucks down, and you can download it from the internet. You can even make yourself sound like a robot if you want. You sound like a robot machine. I mean, the thing is awesome. You can even change anything. You can change everything. So, and when you see him on camera on like TwitchCon, that's his actual voice. When he speaks in that microphone, he's altering it all the time. That's why he can do that all the time. And I even have the program. And I'm a guy who literally lives off of Social Security. So if I can afford it, imagine what he can afford. And it's going to be the same one he uses. I have too. And I pay a lifetime thing, and I can still use it right now.
Attention span issues Gen Z might have was the perfect combination.
And there was free ones you can download too.
Additionally, this story made him out to be a genius, but not just any genius, a noble genius.
And some VTubers do use it.
Who saved 8 employees from losing their jobs by standing up to the evil boss. And where did that boss work? At some unknown company? No, he worked at the grand, prestigious video game company, Blizzard Entertainment. Yes, that's right, this guy right here.
They consider you privileged to work for them, even though they are the lowest paying job in the area, especially at that time, because Bobby Kotick must get his next yacht. He hasn't yet, far as I know, got a new job, or at least a new position. He's basically been shunned by the gaming industry for how bad, because he wanted to take the fun out of making video games. And he was running a gaming corporation, which you need to have fun to make a good game. And now they have fun.
Talking in such an amazing, eloquent tone, worked at Blizzard Entertainment. And that's something he would make sure to mention any chance he got.
When I worked at Blizzard, I did that for Blizzard. Blizzard, 7 years, yeah. Blizzard. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment.
Anyway, we'll get back to that later in the video. But for now, all you have to understand is that these shorts were extremely effective. Pirate Software had gone from 13,000 subscribers to 1 million before the year even ended.
That's a lot, and that's over. Basically, a bunch of them stuff he said is probably a lie. But him working for Blizzard was the truth. He at least worked there.
That's 2 months, going from 13,000 to 1.1 million. And over time, his shorts have racked up almost 2.3 billion views. A massive, astounding achievement in such a short amount of time. But YouTube wasn't the only platform that benefited. I mean, these shorts were highlights from his streams, so of course people went to those streams to see the real thing live. And so his Twitch channel went from 400 concurrent viewers to thousands. And within barely 3 months,
in the beginning, he was streaming for hours and nothing.
Was at over 8,000 concurrent viewers. That's top 1% of the top 1%. Now look, of course you might think, well, there are bigger.
And yes, I have personally streamed for many hours, sat there with zeros, and that's all. The fact that he got more subscribers is the reason why his views are skyrocketing on Twitch.
Streamers out there, of course, but even those streamers must have gotten envious sometimes because of how loyal and supportive Pirate Software's community was. On December 2023, he would beat Twitch's hype train record.
And whenever I'm not recording one of these videos, I am playing Warframe like crazy.
Enough people donate.
And my little picture of a screenshot is actually my account.
Bits or gift subs, the hype train is activated starting at level 1. While that's happening, a timer starts counting down to 0. If more people donate, the timer resets and they get to level 2. Pirate Software's community.
So basically, if they don't keep donating, it'll go down to 0 conventionally.
Had gotten him to level 55, and they discovered together that level 55 was actually the cap. No one had ever reached a hype train level this.
That's surprising. You think they would have got it to 99? There should be 0 cap, but who expected them to reach 55?
High on the entire platform. He had gotten over 7,000 subs and 1.8 million bits. If you don't know what this means, he had essentially made $50,000 in one stream. This guy's community was so unstoppable that it made everyone else be aware of his existence. So much so that he actually was able to get nominated to the Streamer Awards in December of 2023. He was barely getting viral, but this is just how influential he was in such a short span of time. But what I want you to understand here is that the Streamer Awards actually have way bigger streamers than Pirate Software in other category nominations. For example, like XQC or Kai Cenat. These streamers would of course send their own communities to go vote for them on the website, and they did so with no issues. But when Pirate Software sent his community to vote for him, they crashed the fucking website.
The website did not expect that much.
No other content creator had even come close to crashing the website. So it goes without saying that he won the Best Software and Game Development Streamer Award in 2023.
And with fake development knowledge.
He wasn't just absolutely killing it, the guy was speedrunning being a content creator, getting to 1 million subs, getting hundreds of thousands of followers on Twitch, winning streamer awards, and beating records when it came to donations on Twitch. So of course, I say this with no exaggeration, the sky was the limit and the guy was barely getting started. If he could achieve that in just a couple of months, what could he achieve in years? Would he become a legend? Achieve stardom? Either way, he was unstoppable until he wasn't. And he had no one to blame but himself. The first incident that would begin his cataclysmic downfall was, in the most ironic way possible, in a World of Warcraft dungeon. Yes, Blizzard Entertainment's biggest game of all time. And it would become his worst nightmare. Guys, I don't think World of Warcraft needs any introduction, okay?
I want to know about that part.
Okay, it came out in 2004 and revolutionized gaming forever.
Oh, I played it 6 months after release. That's when I first played it. In Classic.
Many games tried to
before it was Classic.
Copy it, many games tried to compete with it, they all died, and this game is still alive today in 2025. Now,
oh man, there have been a lot of games trying to it. I already forgot the other one. EverQuest was before that, and it died.
Throughout the years, it has received,
and that was bigger than World of Warcraft, and it's got slaughtered by World of Warcraft.
Many different expansions, 9 in total. And while they would add more content, quests, story, sometimes new races, sometimes...
The big reason why WoW did not die is like what the EverQuest player said. You did not lose everything. When you ran back to your corpse, you did not have to worry about it rotting. EverQuest, you could lose everything. You could spend days or even years building your armor up and go back in levels to your like level 1 if there's anything else in EverQuest. You could have lost everything. If your corpse rots away, you could have lost everything. So it was literally that bad in EverQuest. World of Warcraft changed all that. When you leveled to max level, you stayed it. You kept all your items. You did not worry if your corpse there. You only got like 10 minutes of unable to do anything. Just go bank at that time. And or fly back to your flight path where the bank was, and then come back and do it again. That was nothing in comparison to losing hundreds of hours worth of farming.
New classes, some of them would also permanently alter the game's fundamental mechanics. In other words, the game that you're playing now in 2020,
except hardcore, but you know in fact you're going into it to die, so that's your own fault.
5 is vastly different from the game that you would have played on release day. One could even go as far as
but then you get to keep all your items on a different server,
saying that they're completely different games at this point. Seeing that so many people's most meaningful gaming experience while they were growing up was World of Warcraft, a lot of them yearned for nostalgia. A lot of them wanted to relive those days when all they had to do was worry about mechanics from 10 or even 15 years ago. This would result in the rise of WoW private servers, unofficial servers ran by fans in which they would use old versions of the game. At some point, Blizzard would...
There's a different World of Warcraft you can download, which is free, like a private server, where you could be like a fish man. Basically, when you get out of water, you start suffocating. It has some weird mechanics. I'm actually starting to play it at this point.
Would start taking down some of the most popular private servers and would cause community outrage, with many asking Blizzard directly, well, why are you going to take them down, seeing that there's demand for them if you're...
The current one is like Project something, and they're not going to take down. Actually, talk with the developers.
You're not going to make one of your own. And so they took their sweet time, but eventually, in the year 2019, they would launch World of Warcraft Classic, bringing back World of Warcraft exactly how it was back during patch 1.12.1 of September 2006, before the launch of its first ever expansion. It would run in parallel to the normal World of Warcraft of today and would slowly re-release its expansions, allowing people to relive them once more. In the summer of 2023, World of Warcraft Classic would release the Hardcore Realms game mode. These are separate servers from normal ones in which you can create a new character, but if you die, you lose that character forever, hence why it was called Hardcore. And this is where
you lose the character off that server. You can still get to keep it. You just gotta go to a regular classic realm to get it back. And you're not allowed to bring that. You cannot bring that stuff to the hardcore. You basically lose everything on hardcore at that point. But you get to keep it.
Where Soda Poppin comes in, a streamer that has been streaming for over a decade now. In his early days, he was a popular World of Warcraft streamer, and when he saw the announcement of World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore, he would create a hardcore streamer guild in October 2023, in which he and a bunch of other big streamers would try their best to level up their character to level 60 without dying, and eventually also try to do endgame content. It was a big success, so at the end of 2024, he decided to launch Season 2. This time, better and bigger than ever before. The amount of streamers that participated in this Season 2 was insane. There are streamers here who had never even played World of Warcraft, that were huge in games that they played. Some were League of Legends pros, some were Counter-Strike pros. I mean, the list went on. It was an astounding amount of people. And of course, one of the many big streamers that had joined OnlyFans was none other than PirateSoftware. Seeing that he had built such a massive influence over the year of 2024, adding him to the guild was seen as a net positive. It was seen as a good thing, until one day, it wasn't. The maximum level you could reach in World of Warcraft Classic Hardcore was level 60, and getting there, just by itself, is already an ordeal that lasts dozens of hours and sees you try your best to not.
Yeah, I understand how tough it is, and that was without hardcore.
Die. Now, Dire Maul is a dungeon that you can only access if you're level 58 at the minimum, and its appeal is the amount of great gear that it drops. Dungeons are typically ran by 5 people, so PirateSoftware and 4 other streamers decided to take this on in order to get better gear. Now usually, when you're in a dungeon or a raid, there's always a team leader, someone who calls the shots. It's a very stressful role.
Team lead makes all of the decisions.
Especially in a raid when you're managing a couple dozen people.
Team lead calls out sheep, tells you not to target sheep. You have to listen to the team lead or else you fail.
And it's even crazier in hardcore World of Warcraft because whatever you decide might affect the accounts of the people playing.
So technically, if you say run or sheep this target, it's your fault.
One wrong move and they lose dozens of hours of progress, and it's all on you. I'm saying this because I want you to bear in mind that PirateSoftware is not the group leader here. But as silly as this sounds, the beginning of PirateSoftware's downfall was because of this dungeon and what you're about to see here. The YouTuber Dev, otherwise known as Short Fat Otaku, great name by the way, combined the perspectives of everyone who was streaming in the dungeon minus one person. One of them was PirateSoftware on the top right. As you're watching this, you're going to hear the team leader say, run. In World of Warcraft dungeons or raids, this means retreat, but help each other retreat, not every man.
No, it means you run. You get your tail out of there now. If you hear run, you're bolting. You do not wait. I've been in many runs where you get out of there if you have to. In regular classic, you just die. But if you hear run, you get out of there.
And for himself, don't care about your teammates. You're meant to stick around, try your best to outmaneuver the enemies while making sure your teammates also make it out with you. But as you might guess, that's not what happened here at all. Watch.
God damn it.
Run.
Just run. Guitar, you dummy?
All right, so he said run. The team tries their best to make sure that they all get out together.
No.
Look at
They're a bunch of newbies. Pirate actually did know what he was doing.
PirateSoftware.
Also, are you fine? Any grenades, anything?
Why are they sticking around? Get to the portal.
You can just
Heal him.
Yeah, you just heal me. Just come back a little bit.
What's on me? Sitting bear form.
Snappy, just run.
I can help a lot. Yeah.
Okay. These guys are at fault. That's why they died. Because they chose to keep fighting. If I was the group lead, you just vote. I don't care. You get to the front. If you're willing to stick around and stay in the back, it's your fault you died.
Pirate, why are you walking, bro?
What are you talking about? Why am I walking?
This
Look
is
at my mana.
savageable. Come on, man.
You said run. In my books, you run. I heard run, run, run. I'm getting out of there. Why are you saying I'm faking running? You said it. Why? So it's not my fault I ran.
So his teammate told him, Pirate, why are you walking, bro? This is salvageable. Come on, man. He doesn't care. He keeps running all by himself.
Just kill the Mastiffs.
Innovate.
Kill the Mastiffs. We got this. In a sense of...
War something?
Do you see my mana? What am I supposed to do for you?
Just kill the Mastiffs. One shot. Okay, we
More on the way.
Now. The Mastiffs can be Ice Novas.
They have too much health. You won't live.
We're gonna wait.
Musara?
Oh.
Okay, get out.
Run.
Evocation's on cooldown, man.
I can taunt last
How much mana is it? There's no way that much.
You have a boss in you, you called run.
Getting slowed.
Fuck. Wait.
Anything for me?
Stop me. Oh,
I
no.
don't think... I cannot stun him. Also,
No,
good.
just run out.
So, that sounded like a massive fuck up, didn't it?
Yes, it did, short fat otaku. Bear in mind, Pirate Software's excuse here was, I have no mana, I can't help you, when he clearly had 2 items in his inventory that could bring back up his mana. He could have totally helped and saved his 2 teammates that ended up dying, losing all their progress.
No, he would have not done because his teammates would have stuck there and still fought. They were willing to keep fighting till they died. No, these guys I would have left in my group. This was not salvageable. There was 0 chances. As a World of Warcraft nut who's played many hours, you're done. In any group, you're dead. There's no way you would have survived.
This was a disaster.
This is a newbie. This guild was made of people who did not know what they were doing. People who played PvP realms. They were not experts. They were not guys who played for days or months or years. They didn't understand.
One of his teammates, Yamato, on the left here, confronted him and was asking him what happened, like what's going on? And this was what Pirate Software had to say right after the fact.
You instantly ran. You didn't even look
As much
back.
as you're angry right now, of course I ran.
I'm not angry at all.
You
I'm not angry at all.
overpulled 2 packs. You overpulled 2 packs and a boss. I had 1,400 mana left. I had to spend all of that mana to try and put it on Blizzard to save you guys in the first place, and nothing left. You weren't paying attention to party resources, you overpulled, and you weren't paying attention to where the boss was. That's not on me.
So 2 of his teammates pretty much lost everything. He
And just to say this, guys, I'm not on Pirate Software's side of what he has done, but this was not his fault. This would have been any World of Warcraft nuts job. Get out of there because Team Lead just said it. And he's not the team lead, so it's not his fault. If he was the team lead, then it would have been. But they are newbies. He's an expert.
clearly ran on his own when he could have just said, you know what, look, yes, I panicked, I screwed up, my bad, sorry. But he instead decides to blame his entire team except for himself. It was your guys' fault for pulling in the enemies. It was your guys' fault for calling run in the middle of a fight. It was your guys' fault for this and that. This was very weird behavior. I mean, this is just a game. And he was acting like if he apologized, he would be committing a cardinal sin or something. It made his teammates very uncomfortable to the point where the guild leader had to step in. Now, Soda Poppin was initially the guild leader, but then, unexpectedly, he dueled Tyler 1, who had leveled up to level 60 and became a very important member of the guild in a fight that would determine who the new guild master would be. What no one was expecting, though, was that Tyler 1 would beat Soda Poppin, becoming the guild master. Seeing that this was becoming a big guild issue, he had to step in and brought both Yamato and Pirate Software into a call in order to squash the beef once and for all. The result? A catastrophe. Watch.
What do you want, man?
Let me say it again.
He already said his piece.
Pirate.
Go on.
Yeah, I want to speak to him because I didn't speak to him correctly. I said it again. We all did mistakes, bro. Like I didn't say, we are just blaming you. It's about the zero accountability is what makes us
He had no reason to be accountable. The leader was accountable.
so mad.
There's no zero
You see the
accountability,
point?
dude. Everyone can do something better.
you-
But when you open up and
No,
you yell
you-
over another
no,
person
listen,
like you
can
were
I
doing earlier,
speak?
nah, I'm good.
You
See ya. I'm not doing that shit again with him. Nah, he did it the first time. I'm not doing it a second one. Not interested.
I mean, this
If this was a raiding guild, that group leader would have been kicked out. He would have been, Pirate Software would have been kicked. The group leader would have just kicked him out. Literally, that's a raiding guild. They literally have you switch jobs just to raid. This is not a dedicated raiding guild where the guys literally stay up 24 hours drinking energy drinks all night long and taking on Ragnar Ross like it was nothing.
This is so weird. Yamato was being as mature as possible here, saying, listen, this was all our fault. We're not blaming you. We just want you to admit, just like we've admitted, that we all screwed up, and he couldn't even say that. Leaving the call like an immature, disrespectful baby as Yamato was talking. This not only rubbed his dungeon teammates the wrong way, it rubbed the entire OnlyFans guild as well as the viewers the wrong way. As criticism was mounting, Pirate Software was for the first time confronting massive controversy coming his way. At any point in time, he could have just simply apologized and moved on. Instead, he only chose to double down, playing the victim and saying that other streamers and OnlyFans just want to cause problems with him for no reason whatsoever.
Content is causing drama and problems. There's a lot of streamers actually in this guild that want to cause problems specifically with me, and have even stated so publicly on their Twitch, saying that they want to have a fight with me for content. That's not content. That's dog shit. Ridiculous. Keep it. Not going to be a part of it.
I mean, seriously, why would people just want to attack you unprovoked for no reason whatsoever? What a cruel world we live in. The bulk of these events would unfold from January 10th to January 12th, 2025. By that time, Pirate Software would have received so much criticism, so much hate, that he felt compelled to post a long tweet explaining his point of view on Twitter, saying, "To those trying to character assassinate me online for a bad pull in Dire Maul WoW hardcore, this is hardcore WoW and a lot is on the line when you step foot into a dungeon. Here is a light breakdown of the last 24 hours. Our party went the wrong way and overpulled multiple packs with a boss. The shot caller made the call to run, then went back on that call. During the run out, another pack was pulled as we had opted to skip it previously, which is never a good thing. Communication was completely broken throughout this, and it was our second time failing the dungeon. Everyone played poorly, and 2 people ultimately lost their characters for it. Each person in this group made mistakes, including myself. I have never once said I was perfect in my play, nor that I was a god gamer. I'm just an ex-Blizzard employee that has played Mage for a long time. To pin that on a single person is absurd at best, and if you're calling for death and cancellation over it, you're too invested in this content in a very unhealthy way. If you're a creator engaging in this kind of behavior, then eventually your content wave will end, but the relationships you've sullied will be permanent. Hope it was worth it for you. To those trying to defend me, don't worry about it. This too shall pass. Do not attack anyone else on my behalf. I've always hated that kind of behavior. I have no intention of stopping making things or not doing stuff as I have already been. Those who are banned will stay so. I've never liked that kind of knee-jerk reaction behavior in our community before, and I will not be changing that now. For those that don't understand why they will stay banned, we had a 10-hour-long hate raid over it live on Twitch. We had to ban nearly 4,000 accounts across all platforms, and our...
The funny thing is, by doing that banning of that, Pirate just added more people to make more accounts and go after you even more. Trolls don't care. They'll make millions of accounts. They don't care how many. They'll go ahead and make tons of accounts and keep making it. So every phone number around the world has been used up. They don't care. And I won't ban really anyone. I mean, at this point, I stopped. The only one person I ever banned, but that was because the person talked about adult-rated stuff in my channel. At this point, I stopped caring.
Moderators received death threats regularly throughout it all. People called for me.
I let the fans to have fun. But remember, don't give people hate. Just give them what they that's all I can say.
To be killed both in-game and out-of-game. They tried to get me banned from Twitch, the guild, and WoW. They
just recorrect them.
Tried to make disparaging comments about our ferret rescue or that we somehow hurt animals.
That's not ferret rescue. It's called he's getting new pets.
They tried to spread rumors saying I was convicted of felonies and many other things. The internet...
Don't lie on the internet because karma will come back and bite you. Something bad could happen to you.
Internet hate machine will not defeat me or the community that supports me. See you in WoW Hardcore tomorrow. So this was posted on January 13th, 2025. And while he did admit that everyone in the group made mistakes, including himself, it truly didn't feel genuine. It seemed like it was absolutely impossible for him to just say, "I'm sorry, I misplayed." He just couldn't do it.
Because he had no reason.
Someone pointed that out, saying, "Where's the I messed up?" And Pirate Software...
Because team lead made the mistake. He called run, run, run. Team lead is in fault. Unfortunately, that's how it goes. If I was your team lead and I call run, 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 it's my fault if everyone dies. I told you, get your butts to the portal and get out of here right now. That is the team lead. If you make a mistake, you have to take a responsibility. Pirate wasn't.
Said, apparently you have no idea how to read. Hope this helps, highlighting the paragraph in which he said each person in this group made mistakes, including myself. Again, it was worded in a disingenuous way. He just couldn't take individual accountability here, no matter what. The top comment was a WoW streamer known by Joker D saying, just take the L, it's not that hard, to which PirateSoftware said, hope this was worth it for you. So overall, this entire response didn't really help him at all. And even if it did, he would single-handedly ruin any progress it might have had in the coming days. He would double down, triple down, quadruple down, quintuple down, and eventually sextuple down, only to call OnlyFans a content guild built on hate.
And a lot of it was from a rogue that was bitching the entire time about every goddamn thing that was going on except for his own play. But the mage is the one at fault because the mage is the hero class and the mage has to do everything perfectly. Everyone in that played badly. The druid butt pulled an extra pack on the way out. The tank chose to take us into a bad route through the entirety of the dungeon, pulled 2 packs and the boss at the same time. I, as the mage, went into that fight with 40% mana, tried to use my resources, used them poorly, and got myself out when the call was made to run, 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 which, by the way, was made by them as well. Everyone played badly. In fact, the only person who didn't was the healer. And I explained that in the Twitter post, but no one wants to hear that shit because they want it to be a double down, a triple down, a quadruple down. They want to have a villain. They want to have an enemy. They want to fight that shit into the ground. They want to send death threats to people over it because they're goddamn insane. Because this guild has turned into a content guild built on hate, not a content guild built on experiences. Because they're freaking monsters, dude.
It's just crazy how we got to this point and we're not even halfway through this drama, and all he had to really realistically do was look at the camera and say, you know what, I'm sorry. We all misplayed, yes, but I screwed up by running away the way I did.
They want to be apologized because they were the ones who caused the problem, but they can't bother saying, we are the ones who caused the problem. I mean, literally, I would have acquitted the guild if I dealt with these people. I would have not. I won't hesitate but to yap at the guild leader myself. Because if you can't take an accountability of yourself and you expect everyone to kiss your butt cheeks, then don't play. I mean, you are making someone just say, I stole the cookie from the cookie jar. Even though it was your friend over there who actually the one who grabbed the cookie and ate it. But blaming you for everything for no reason. He's being blamed for something he did not do.
2 items that could have restored my mana so I could help.
Let me just say that another thing. That mana pot won't do nothing. And also the cooldown wood he's talking about has a cooldown. It would have done nothing. He would have used it, wasted it, and you know what? Mana pots at that time are more difficult to get. So they are a resource you only use if needed. You can't just decide I want 1 million of them today. You have to use them if you need to. Raids spend tons of gold to get that stuff. So it's not something you throw around, man.
The 2 people who died, but I just simply panicked and ran away, and so...
And even if he did, they would have still died because they would have gone right back into battle. And everyone would have died even more. Maybe 2, instead 2, 5.
Even though we all misplayed, I just want to say I'm sorry for my play. But no, it was too hard for him. Guys, he worked at Blizzard, and Blizzard employees simply don't make mistakes. That's a given. As PirateSoftware...
Everyone makes mistakes, but these are newbies, and he knows what he's doing.
Was too busy playing the victim, a clip of the streamer Lucari surfaced in which he was doing a dungeon with PirateSoftware. You see, Lucari is someone who had never played World of Warcraft up until this point. He was playing a mage, just like Pirate, but he was kind of having a hard time keeping up with everything going on. Here's how Pirate treated him. I'm sure you can tell from the title. PirateSoftware bullying a totally new player to the game. Pathetic, dude. Watch.
You basically have to evocate to get your mana back for the next pull.
Reminded me. Sorry, I don't play the game, so I forgot. If you remind me, I can help you.
Yeah, it's too bad I'm the only mage in the party. You're right, Jen. Only someone else would cast Arcana. Only.
Can't really keep wishing for things that just aren't here, though.
That is true.
I don't see anything. This is not bowling. He's giving them hints and tips.
It's true. It's true.
This typically happens in all games.
Can't wish for the rogue. Can't wish for another mage to gas arcane in.
Yeah.
Brother, may I have some oats? Oh, since we have 2 mages, we could probably poly the ads.
Okay, you know, ever heard of joking? My dad did it all the time.
Wait, we have 2 mages. Oh man.
Yeah,
The reason why he wasn't counting him as a mage, he's a noob. We call these people who just started the game yet recently newbies, or new players which haven't got their wings yet, who don't know what they're doing. You need to listen to the more better players to how to play. An expert would know what to do. Even I don't know how to play mage perfectly, and I played 1 to 60.
I can poly.
Here I've been the only one casting
Not in hardcore.
arcane in. Incredible.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's wild, right?
God, even reality TV can't recreate such an
That sounds like a joke. I would actually enjoy dealing with pirate software. That guy took it so hard. And you know what? He's looking for blood. That actually sounds like a normal day, I would say.
awkward moment, man. Just ruining the whole vibe.
Yeah, it's too bad I'm the only mage in the party.
This video is kind of good, but now it seems like he totally hates pirate software and not tell the truth.
Hey man, I'm new to the game, so if you want me to help with Arcane, just let me know, remind me. Yeah, it's too bad I'm the only mage in the game, right chat? Oh, we have 2 mages. Oh, I didn't know that. All that in the face of a new player who was being nothing but nice, honestly. And yet Pirate Software had the gall to complain about being bullied by other content creators when he was literally doing that to someone as innocent as Lakari. The culmination of all this would force Sodapoppin to take the decision of kicking Pirate Software from OnlyFans, pinging everyone in the OnlyFans Discord and saying this: yes, I made a decision to kick Pirate. I felt a large majority of people in the guild felt uncomfortable playing or being around him and all that drama that surrounded him at this point. Even though some people may have not felt that way, a lot did. And after seeing some clips today from him quadrupling down, or I don't know what number we're on at this point, I think I'm making the right decision, but still I feel bad. Try to just let this whole thing slide into forgetfulness and move on, in my opinion. Stay safe, gamers. So look, at the end of the day, in World of Warcraft,
In a raiding guild, that guy would have never joined. He would have had very difficulty. One mess up, and he would have been kicked. I am not joking. You join a group called Dealing with People Who Have a Sense of Humor. I deal with guys who literally went to war at one time, who literally couldn't handle a gun because he's afraid of what would happen. And he said it flat out. What he couldn't say the actual words. He was not allowed to have a gun because what would happen. And I find out many years later, he is for his own safety, not for the cops. It was for his own life. It was. And I raided with the guy for many years. I did not understand all of that. And the guy played World of Warcraft. He was one of our guildies.
in general, when you're in a raid or dungeon, you have to trust every single member on your team to make sure that not only you complete the raid or dungeon, but that you also survive. This also applies on a way bigger scale in World
And his name was, we called him Juggy, or Juggernaut.
of Warcraft Classic Hardcore, because one bad teammate can cost you the account that you've put dozens or even hundreds of hours in. And people just couldn't trust someone who couldn't take any accountability like Pirate Software.
These guys literally couldn't spend the time on regular World of Warcraft or even Classic without Hardcore to learn how to play the character. They couldn't bother.
As soon as things would have gone wrong, he would have probably just ran for his life and said he had no mana again. And not many people really felt sorry for him because at the end of the day, he was the embodiment of this meme. No one was forcing him to sextuple down. No one was forcing him to bully a new player. The only person who was shooting themselves in the foot with a shotgun was none other than Pirate Software. At this point, Jason Thor Hall, otherwise known as Pirate Software, was slowly but surely becoming a lolcow, but he had no idea. But that was normal, because fundamentally speaking, a lolcow is never aware that they're a lolcow. Look, there are a lot of definitions of what a lolcow is, but if I had to sum it up, well, it would be very simple. It's someone who simply embodies the worst of the worst when it comes to human traits, but they would be constantly convinced that they are the perfect human being, never able to admit fault, and never willing to even when they know that they're in the wrong. This by itself becomes...
They want him to suck their feet.
very entertaining, and there are many examples. They come in all shapes, sizes, and even colors. And the mage who ran out of mana was about to join their ranks imminently. All he had to do to avoid this fate was just fucking apologize, man. But he just couldn't. In fact, what he ended up doing was maybe one of the cringiest things in this entire video. I genuinely can't believe that someone in his 30s said this, but I mean, watch this yourself. You'll know what I mean.
How did you get this deep? Stop feeding into it. All of the accounts that are messaging me are getting reported. There's a funny fact about this. I worked at Blizzard for 7 years. There's a whole lot of other people there that still know me. And all of these reports are going directly to them. They're well aware of the situation, and everybody who's messaging me, they're going to get read. It's kind of a dumbass thing to do, and I can't wait for all of them to get banned. Yep.
Yeah, so all you guys whispering me right now with these threats, well, guess what? My dad works at Nintendo, and
That might not happen if it's not worded correctly. It doesn't matter if he's have his dad up there. It has to be enough to cause them to get banned. It's case by case.
I'm going to tell him personally about every single one of you, so good job. See you later. It's like, bro, if they're sending you death threats, you really just have to report them in game, and I'm sure something will happen. You don't have to actually bother your Blizzard alumni. This clip was on January 14th. And guys, I swear to you, I am constantly impressed by how ironic life can be. I don't think we live in a simulation, but sometimes I do get the feeling because some things are just so perfect in comedic timing, you'd think that there was someone writing a script. One day after this clip came out, Pirate Software was streaming the game Ashes of Creation during its second alpha. This is an MMORPG similar to World of Warcraft, and it also has raids as well as dungeons. During a raid, Pirate Software would wipe the entire team. He would kill everyone single-handedly by pulling in the wrong unit. What would be his first reaction? Well, watch for yourself.
Sabu is not paying attention.
He pulled in the enemy,
Sabu.
and he died.
God damn it, guys.
No, he pulled the ocular.
So one of you pulled the ocular. Why? Now half the raid is dead. Was there a reason for that?
I swear, it is so funny knowing that he was the one who pulled the ocular. This is also another thing with LoL.
So yeah, this one he is at fault, and he probably did not realize it. And if he didn't, he needs to apologize.
Cows. They are unintentionally hilarious. Pirate Software here was genuinely pissed, okay? He genuinely was livid. But knowing that he was the one who caused the wipe is so fucking funny. It showed people that World of Warcraft wasn't an isolated case. He was doing this in Ashes of Creation and would very easily do this a third time somewhere else. It was him. He was the issue here. And his lack of accountability was astounding. But you know what else is astounding? His ability to keep digging himself in deeper holes. During this whole fiasco, Joker D would talk about Pirate Software and would call him out.
I honestly fuck Pirate Software. Like straight up, bro. This dude is a complete fraud. At least in the WoW space, I don't care if he worked for fucking Blizzard. The guy probably made fucking coffee for some devs. I don't even believe for a second.
So out of all the streamers in OnlyFans, Joker D probably went the hardest on Pirate Software. He took segments of this rant and uploaded it as a
Also, go to the description, be the first one part to go to his channel and like and subscribe. And also like and subscribe to me. I don't do these videos as often. I'm playing Warframe. I just play that off video because I don't do these videos on stream or anything.
YouTube video. That YouTube video would then be removed due to a violation of community guidelines, and the person who striked it cited the reason as being harassment and cyberbullying. One could only guess who took this video down. I mean, seriously.
Pirate.
Joker D would never reveal the name of the brand or whatever that was behind this, but seeing that the video had gotten brigaded by Pirate Software's community, for many it was safe to say that Pirate Software was the one who took this video down because he simply didn't like it, abusing the copy strike system on YouTube. Seeing that Pokemon had done this in the past back in 2020, getting an amazing community reaction, and of course we can't forget about Alinity doing this as well back in 2018. Wow, I'm old.
I'm gonna copy strike this guy.
I mean, it was genius.
If you're gonna copyright strike, that will bite you in your rear end, because if you haven't technically went to the government to say I have paid the money necessary to say this video I own, then it's not copyright. If you haven't done that, you will lose in court. And if you're doing this for no apparent reason, remember, one day you might lose everything. So if you make that person lose everything, and it was not your fault, it's going to come back and bite you.
It worked so well for every content creator who had done that prior. So obviously, this was the play. Congratulations. You know, it's so fascinating to me how the internet works sometimes. Someone could mind their own business for months, for years, for decades. But as soon as they do something that makes them so incredibly unlikable, the internet starts seeing a big red target on your back and they strike. Pirate Software had a talent of building up a huge, loyal community in just a span of a couple of months. When January 2025 came by though, he proved to us that he had another talent, building up a massive community of very loyal haters. These incidents that we just talked about had ensured that. This is when those very same haters would start scrutinizing every single aspect of Pirate Software, both as a brand and as a person, only to eventually dismantle this massive empire that he had built. Now look, just to be clear, Pirate Software has always had haters, dating all the way back to September 2024, and there were earlier instances too. This is normal. When you get famous, when you take over the algorithm the way he did, some people will naturally get fatigued from you. I mean, you might not believe this, but even someone like Queso has haters, purely because he's a massive content creator, no pun intended. Some of these early haters of Pirate Software would start making videos talking about his past. About how, for example, he wasn't the game developer he was making himself out to be, especially with his Blizzard experience. About how he used to go by the name of Moldavius Fig Tree and was a well-renowned furry in Second Life and EVE Online. But those videos would never get enough traction to actually matter. As you can see, this video right here with the title of Pirate Software, the streamer who faked his game dev career, had reached almost 100,000 views. From the like and dislike ratio, we can see how Pirate Software had somehow, either directly or indirectly, sent his community to brigade this video, and just like Joker D's video, it was taken down by abusing the copy strike system and inciting harassment and cyberbullying. So essentially, if you were an early hater of Pirate Software, if you had something to say, well, chances are no one heard you. This is how for a long time he was able to sweep all the hate, feedback, and criticism under the rug. Except this time, after all the events that we just saw unfold, he had way too many eyes examining his every move, and he couldn't just sweep criticism under the rug anymore. For example, around the end of January 2025, Pirate Software had DMCA'd an indie game and threatened to sue its developer. Why? Well, the developer shows us the main reason why Pirate Software wanted the game taken down. Here it is. It's this roach wearing the same wizard hat that he was wearing during World of Warcraft.
That should not be DMCA. That's funny.
While mimicking some of the things that he was saying. Watch.
As much as you're angry right now, of course I...
This whole game got DMCA'd because of this. I mean, this is how sensitive he is. And now many people were made aware of this. He couldn't just copy strike or DMCA just about anyone, because every time he did, he spawned more haters. His strategy was now outdated. Everyone was made aware of what had happened to this indie game. And speaking of indie games, there was renewed scrutiny over Pirate Software's indie game called Heartbound, with many wondering why it's been in early access since 2018 with no release date in sight. Give it 3 more years, it'll be a decade. Some people were comparing him to Yandere Dev, a very well-established lolcow who hadn't released his game in over a decade. And when people actually analyzed its code, they found some of the worst written code known to mankind. Seeing all this scrutiny and criticism catch up to his own game development must have hit one hell of a nerve, because very shortly after he announced that Heartbound would start receiving monthly updates. And all it took was people going there and reviewing it negatively. He was hoping that this would steer off the criticism and the scrutiny, and that things would eventually finally go back to normal, but the haters weren't really done just yet. People were putting into question his entire identity, the fact that he worked at Blizzard for 7 years, but worked what exactly? As well as him claiming that he was one hell of a hacker who had gone to the yearly hacking conference, DEF CON, and won some pretty important events there with the help of his team that he never mentioned, of course. Always taking credit for this by himself. I mean, at some point he was invited to a podcast called Dropped Frames. This was a
He does not know how to hack.
Clip from it, and here's the title: Pirate Software on how he became a hacker for the government. These were the stories that he was telling people. Watch this.
You're a hacker. Like that's where you like kind of started.
Actual hacker.
An actual hacker. Like,
Yes,
not like
yes.
I'm a hacker type. No, you're an actual
was
hacker.
kidding.
You
Yeah.
won.
Like an actual hacker.
Yeah,
My last job was hacking power plants for the federal government. I
Yeah.
worked for the United States Department of Energy.
So a
Just
dude
the
walks in with a
laptop and my-
laptop and a suit, and you lean
Yeah.
over to, who's that guy?
Well, that's the hacker from the
Yeah,
government.
that's the hacker.
Like
Like,
3 to
what?
4 man teams, man. So like we've got a team. Of
Oh, you
dudes
had a
looking
fleet.
Like
You had
this.
like a team of
Yeah.
dudes in suits
wasn't just
holding
me.
laptops,
Yeah,
walking into
exactly.
restricted areas. Okay.
When he says things like this, what he's trying to paint in your mind as a viewer is that he's some sort of Unit 8200 Mossad agent writing zero-day exploits on USBs that are snuck into Iranian nuclear facilities and that infest and shut down the entire technical operation of that nuclear power plant. When in reality, if you look at his LinkedIn and reconcile it against his skill set, what he did was social engineering. He wrote phishing emails and tried to gain access to credentials.
Even your grandma could probably do the same thing with a little bit of training. You gotta be nice and kind, say you're a rich billionaire, and do some phishing. Essentially, you're putting a rod out in the digital field and just giving things out, saying, I'll pay you a ton of money, please come to my company, but I need... Basically, I'll send you the folder through the internet, and there's a whole bunch of viruses in it. Gets into your company's computer, and then you can grab everything. It's not hacking. Someone else, he did not make the virus. His team lead, the one who deals with the viruses, did it.
And user systems that way.
So Coding Jesus said it best. Pirate Software's entire identity was slowly starting to unravel right before our very eyes. From the shorts that made him go viral, to the stories he used to say on stream, to quite literally everything about him was nothing more than either an exaggeration or him trying as best as possible to sugarcoat reality. We can very clearly see on his LinkedIn that first off, he didn't work at Blizzard for 7 years, it was actually 6 years, 6 months, and that his initial roles were him being in quality assurance. For the first 4 years at Blizzard, so the majority of his time there, he was in an entry-level role, eventually being promoted multiple times and finishing off as a senior red team specialist. In his own description of the job, he said, infiltrated and exploited physical access controls, managed social engineering operations to improve employee awareness and resilience, and finally created, launched, and managed a global web application bounty program. As Coding Jesus said, this guy would literally just send phishing emails, make phone calls, try to pretend to be an outsider in order to have employees make mistakes so that they can improve internal protocols. I mean, it's an important job, that's for sure, but even on his LinkedIn, he would make claims that he worked on all these different games. I mean, yeah, indirectly, but none of your code made it to the game. You didn't model, you didn't texture, and you sure as hell didn't animate. You just so happened to work on internal projects in parallel to these games. And yet, every time someone would mention something about games, about the video game industry, about whatever, he would always start off by saying, I worked 7 years at Blizzard, actually, so I know what I'm talking about. When in reality, no, you have more experience as an indie developer than you ever had as a developer at a AAA company, and that's the truth. And there's nothing wrong with that, it's just that he made this such an important and integral part of his personality that it felt like a massive betrayal. But that's not all. His dad was Joey Ray Hall. This picture right here is of 10 people, and if you don't know who they are, these people happen to be the original founders of Blizzard Entertainment. Yes, these guys are legends in every sense of the word, and the guy in the middle is none other than Jason Thorhall's father. He later became the director of cinematics at Blizzard, which is probably the only thing that Blizzard has been consistently good at for the last 20 years. He was also the inspiration behind this guy in South Park from the famous World of Warcraft episode. I mean, this guy was a legend in every sense of the word. And so Mashable.com, when they made this article about Pirate Software, titled How Streamer Pirate Software Gained Nearly 2 million subs in 6 months, they just had to mention the fact that he's a Nepo baby, saying when he was 16, he landed a dream job as a game tester at Blizzard Entertainment, which, before the bloated loot boxes and corporate acquisition by Microsoft for $68.7 billion, was considered one of the most respected companies in the video game industry. It helped that he was a Nepo baby, since his dad, Joey Ray Hall, had spent over 2 decades at the industry titan since almost the very beginning. Now, of course, after 6 months, he would leave because he felt that the corporate life wasn't for him, and many years later would reapply by himself without
that's funny.
the help of his dad, landing a QA role, which I believe
No, his dad's, since he was already there once, he was able to use Blizzard to get back in.
because if he had the help of his dad, no way he would end up in an entry-level position. But still, just them including this sentence calling him a Nepo baby truly triggered him beyond belief. I mean, look at what he had to say.
Yeah, really not a fan of that. Not a fan of that. It's one of those things that I've been trying to fight my entire career. It's one of the things that I've had to argue with people in chat about. It's one of the things that we ban people for here. Anytime people say shit like that, because it's deeply disrespectful and it completely overwrites any of the things that I've done throughout my career as something that is somebody else's success, which they have not been in any possible respect. And it's just rude as fuck. So, what do you say? In the thing, he said it was he called me a Nepo baby in his article. No, that's dog shit behavior. Really gross. In any case, let's go find somebody to raid.
I mean, you heard him, right? He would ban people in chat if they called him a Nepo baby.
I mean, it's called you laugh at them. I won't ban any. Only people I would probably ban are like scammers who are just constantly coming saying, I want you to buy bots from me. Basically, the accounts will already be called throwaway accounts.
It's the easiest way to trigger him. And yet, at the same
that I would laugh at.
The same guy who's acting triggered over being called Nepo baby said this multiple times on his stream. Watch.
So I'm second generation Blizzard. I'm the first second generation Blizzard employee that ever existed with the company. I'm also a second generation Blizzard employee. I was a second generation Blizzard employee. I was the first second generation Blizzard employee ever. I was the first second generation Blizzard employee. And I love that shit. I love that company. Working for Blizzard sucked.
Again, a lol cow is someone who is unintentionally hilarious when being 100% serious, and I just can't stop laughing at this guy. I mean, seriously? I was the first second generation Blizzard employee? What is this, the Chinese dynasty? Like, what are you even talking about? And let's be real here, the only reason you were the first second generation Blizzard employee was purely because of your dad. Because back then, they didn't even have a recruiting team. You were just the easiest hire. And I think one thing he has to understand is that being a Nepo baby isn't a bad thing. I think most people, if they had a dad or a mom who worked a really cool job, they would love to take advantage of that, and they do. For example, Jack Quaid is an actor that was called a Nepo baby multiple times by fans. That's because his parents are both Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan, two very successful actors. His response was very refreshing for fans, agreeing with the Nepo baby label and saying, "I'm an immensely privileged person. I don't think it undermines my talent." Adding that he was able to get representation pretty early on because of being a Nepo baby, and that it's already more than half the battle. So as I said, being a Nepo baby isn't inherently a bad thing. It's only bad when you try to deny it, when you get defensive, because come on, who are you lying to? And that was what Pirate Software was doing. It was becoming more and more obvious that Pirate Software had a massive ego, but also very deep-rooted insecurities. He wanted to appear like a genius no matter what. And according to him, geniuses never apologize, geniuses never admit fault. But they also never make mistakes and always, no matter what, figure things out on stream. This is something that became painfully obvious when he would play some pretty hard puzzle games and would figure out some of the hardest things all by himself miraculously after looking at his phone, playing it off like it was some genius eureka moment. Outer Wilds is a critically acclaimed, story-rich space exploration game that just so happens to have some pretty complex puzzles. Pirate Software would play this game on stream, and he would proceed to solve these puzzles all by himself, miraculously, and more specifically, after looking at his phone. In the VOD of his gameplay,
that means he's looking at, like, how to solve it.
Around 8 hours and 7 minutes, he gets stuck in an area and he needs to get out somehow. This is one of the many puzzles in this game. Now he would struggle to find the solution, deliberate with his chat, talk a bunch, and then at around the 8:20 mark, he would pull out his phone right here and continue talking to chat. This goes on for 2 minutes in which he deliberates while very clearly looking at his phone. And then eventually, at around the 8-hour 22-minute mark, he would get a eureka moment.
Maybe it's not with the scanner. Maybe there's a different way. Maybe it's not the scanner at all. Maybe it's the time. Maybe the fact that we were able to destroy the surface like that was the point.
He just watched the video on how to do it and then acting.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have an idea.
Guys, wait a minute. Oh my god, I have an idea. Guys, oh my god. This just came out of nowhere. My brain just works differently. Did I mention that I worked 7 years at Blizzard? This would spread like wildfire on Reddit. This guy is faking his Outer Wilds run in order to appear to be a genius to his community. That's crazy. It's so ridiculous you can't even believe it. But as I already mentioned, he was facing increased scrutiny. He normally would have been able to get away with this, and he did get away with this in other games. It's just that now things were different. When questioned about cheating in Outer Wilds, this is what he had to say.
Why did you cheat in Outer Wilds? What? How the hell would you cheat in that game? Bro, we played it all live on stream. Alright, bud.
Look at your phone.
It's a wild-ass thing to say.
Yes, how would you cheat while live streaming this as he stares into his phone for 2 straight minutes? You're absolutely right. The real controversy would be when he would play the game Animal Well that released on May 2024. You see, he played this game.
It's easier to cheat on an offline game when you're not live streaming. So that would be easier because you could just pause or cut that out.
Before the World of Warcraft controversy and before the increased scrutiny. But after he had embarrassed himself in Outer Wilds and World of Warcraft, people thought to go back and check his gameplay because they thought, wait, now that I think about it, this was kind of suspicious. And the evidence here was damning. It was simply undeniable. You see, Animal Well is a puzzle game, but not just any puzzle game. It has many puzzles and many secrets that are very easy to miss if you don't take your time analyzing every aspect of it. When the game first came out, you had people on Reddit and in forums trying to work together in order to find all of its secrets and puzzles. One of those puzzles was the Wingding puzzle. This took the entire community over a week of teamwork in order to find the solution. This was a group effort in every way, and no one person could have solved it by themselves. The guide came out on May 19th, 2024, and it just so happens that Pirate Software, miraculously, all by himself on stream, solved this puzzle on May 19th, the day the guide came out. I mean, bro, seriously?
How magically you found out. You look at it.
You'd also have some people write entire essays with proof as to why they think that Pirate Software cheated. If you want to read this and have actually played Animal Well, you can pause the video, but in a nutshell, it's almost like he was trying his hardest to ruin any ounce of reputation
He can't bother saying, I looked at the guy, guys. I did.
He had left. I mean, seriously, are you that insecure that you would cheat in a fucking puzzle game in order to appear to be a genius to your community? Really? It's insanity. But this was reality because, as I said earlier, this scrutiny was disassembling every aspect of his brand and personality, even down to his most fundamental traits, like his own voice. People would somehow unearth this old clip of him at a convention in which he sounded completely different than how he sounds today, leading many to believe that he's either faking his voice or simply using a voice changer on his microphone. Listen to this.
Show been so far?
It's actually been amazing. It's our first time out here at Denver Comic Con, and there's so many people, and they love the games, so it's been awesome.
So speaking of games, what do you have for us today?
So we have Champions of Breakfast, which is a twin-stick shooter that we made in 24 days from concept to release on Steam. Blew up. It was really, really awesome.
He's not very... If some people call him fat, that's average weight. That's like a regular guy's physique. So really, his voice is not going to change at all by that point.
And that game is pretty difficult, so if you're into really hard arcade games, that's the kind of thing for you.
You know what though? To be fair, he sounds like such a pleasant person here. This is someone I can see myself being friends with. Look, people want to theorize and say that he has a voice changer or is faking his voice. I think he was just killed by an evil clone. I think that's a better explanation. This of course wouldn't be the only clip where you'd hear him have a different voice, like this one for example.
I'm gonna have to peel my hot dog. I have to peel it. Every good hot dog needs to be peeled. Every good hot dog.
That must be his actual voice. He hadn't yet used the voice software yet.
Needs to be peeled. You see, now that I've peeled the hot dog, it's ready to eat.
Look, a hot dog is
That's
about
right.
to be eaten by Thor.
It's ready to eat.
Okay, look, if you're not convinced yet, here's a more recent clip of him playing Animal Well. This was around a year ago, back in 2024. Look.
I don't know what that gives me though.
I don't know what is that supposed to do? How am I gonna fit that shit in there? Oh, god damn it.
To some people.
Yeah, that's something.
This was his voice changer glitching. To others, this was him mistakenly getting too comfortable with his real voice. What does Pirate Software have to say about this? Well, apparently, according to his doctor, his voice went through a second puberty in his 30s. That's right. Apparently your balls can drop twice, but I could only find a handful of sources on this, and this article from the BBC pretty much sums it up by saying that as we get older, the larynx gets stiffer, making the vocal cords less flexible. I mean, this isn't new. When you talk to someone who's 90 years old, they'll sound different than what they used to sound like in their 20s. But to have this much of a dramatic change? That's crazy. Regardless though, I mean, the pressure was getting to Pirate Software. Not only was his game getting scrutinized, not only was his past out in the open, but people were criticizing his gameplay, the way he played games, and even his voice. Things were getting out of control. So the next thing you know, he was on stream with a psychologist by the name of Dr. K. Alok Kanogia, otherwise known as Dr. K, runs the healthygamer.gg organization. He's a clinical psychologist who founded this brand in order to be able to reach the very big and growing demographic of gamers, a group of people who very often will struggle with mental health and not really seek out therapy when they should. His content is mostly educational, drawing parallels between video games and what you go through mentally, and overall, he's been quite successful. Now, of course, that's not to say that he doesn't have his fair share of haters. Some people, for example, have criticized the fact that he does these therapy sessions with streamers in public, even though the person in question consents to it. From Dr. K's perspective, though, he wants to show people that streamers are humans too. And if someone like those streamers that they idolize is brave enough to get therapy, then they can do so too. His conversation with Pirate Software would last over 3 hours and a half. It would get viewed by almost 1 million people, and having watched a good chunk of it, I can tell you right now, regardless of what you might think about Dr. K, I think this stream truly shows his incredible skill in being able to converse with such an obvious narcissist without having him rage quit the call, while still trying his best to give him a reality check. And for you to understand that, I want you to watch this clip.
For this shit right now is like, they come in and they're like, did you know that he worked at Blizzard for 7 years? Like, yeah, that was my career. And I'm proud of that. So of course I'm going to talk about that because it gives context to talk about other things around the games industry, which is what we do on the stream.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes the things that I talk about in regards to those types of things is misconstrued as arrogance or boasting, when in reality, I'm just trying to give context.
So that is the problem right there. So I want you to listen to this phrase. This gets misconstrued as arrogance, but in reality, it's this.
Yeah.
That is the most arrogant.
And the thing is, since this guy does it online, you don't know if he's just changing what he is and not.
Arrogant statement on the planet, bro.
This could be rehearsed many times beforehand.
Oh, like, tell me I'm wrong.
Okay. I don't see it that way, but all right.
God, it must be so hard talking to someone like that. Anyway, in the next clip, you'll be seeing the logic behind Pirate Software's attitude when it comes to never apologizing.
Let me
like not give any context whatsoever?
Yeah. Let's say yes to that. I think that's a bit of hyperbole, but
just an emotional response?
No, just say, "Hey guys." So basically, you know, when you tell the narrative, you start with like, I made a mistake, everyone made mistakes. I was smug. And then there's a lot that comes after that. How would you feel about just ending it after that first paragraph?
I hate that.
Okay.
I have like an immediate, emotionally angry response against that.
Very good.
Because it feels like idiocracy.
Okay.
It feels like, that's too long, didn't read. I don't need all those words when few words do gooder. That I hate that shit. Like I super hate that kind of communication of like there's a lot of people that just say like, oh, you should just say my bad, guys. No. That does not in any way explain a situation. That doesn't tell you any information that is real. It is hand-waving for the masses in a way that is disingenuous to what happened and disingenuous to the people that are involved. I feel like to do that would be just me lying for the sake of lying so that people would fuck off.
This really gave us an insight as to how his mind
This is truly, they want them to kiss their feet.
functions. And as you heard from him talking, he hates the idea of just saying my bad.
But he should also apologize if it's his mistake. Or if it's nothing, then you can just not pay attention, because trolls are going to come back and bite you in your rear end every single time. That's why you see there's some trolls on some of my videos I don't even acknowledge. But if you are actually a decent person, yeah, I'll talk to you. If you're just a decent human being, I will speak to you. If you're a troll, I'm not even going to just think about it and forgot about it days later because I'm busy trying to get the MR at 30 or Master Rank 30 in Warframe because that's what I want to do, and then I'm going to go to Minecraft, so I don't care.
Bad, let's move on. I'm sorry, let's move on. He wants to sit there and type 12 paragraphs as to why he was wrong but not really, while others were more wrong than him. All of a sudden, things make a lot of sense. Now, listen to how Dr. K responded to that, okay? Just watch.
So I think what I liked about that response, my hope, so we're not here to like rehab your PR, right? We're just here to have a conversation. And at the same time, over the last 2 hours, there's something about the way that I hear you talk that rubs me the wrong way. There's something about the way that you talk that seems...
If you want to, guys, I have a bunch of energy drinks in my place. Even if you looked around, you will not find them. You will not think the one box is actually an energy drink box loaded with a whole bunch. I only drink them when I do need it.
dismissive. So I'll tell you where that...
No, I agree with that.
Right? So it's like, I made a mistake, we all made mistakes.
Okay.
Right? So there's something about your sentence construction. It's like, oh yeah, Thor, I'm sorry I cheated on you, bro. I really do love you. You know, we both have flaws in this marriage.
I think the funny thing here is that Dr. K is known to be very caring, very nice, and not confrontational at all when it comes to streams like this.
That's a typical counselors and that. They have to be nice.
But in this case, seeing that he's an experienced psychologist, he knew when to become confrontational. He knew when to call out Pirate Software on his bullshit. And this is what it was. Bullshit. In just a span of like 20 seconds, Dr. K had essentially summed up people's entire problem with Pirate Software. When he would be criticized, when he would be given feedback, when he would be given advice, he was always dismissive and smug. And this smugness is what led us here. People were hoping that this productive 3.5-hour conversation would actually lead somewhere, maybe actually make him apologize for once and take a step back. But it didn't. His empire kept crumbling until we had finally reached the final nail in the coffin. Stop killing games. Stop Killing Games is an initiative launched by Ross Scott in the European Union and the United Kingdom. It was meant to be a direct answer to what happened with the game The Crew, made by Ubisoft. At the end of December 2023, Ubisoft all of a sudden announced that The Crew would no longer be purchasable and that its servers would be going down on March 31st, 2024. Seeing that this was a live service game, this meant that after March, you'd never be able to play this game ever again. The salt in the wound, though, was that barely a couple weeks after the servers went offline, Ubisoft revoked The Crew from people who had bought it digitally, attaching a message saying, "You no longer have access to this game, why not check the store to pursue your adventures?" To many, this was an outrage. It essentially meant that you never owned your games to begin with. Ubisoft can just...
This is something companies should never do, because once you hurt people in different ways, they will come back, especially if it's a lot of people. It's a ticking time bomb. That's why we own games physically means we own the game.
Take them away.
And if you're doing this, you're going to have to deal with government sooner or later.
This also more recently happened with Concord. It barely came out for a week and then the servers were offline. If you bought the disc copy, you were played like an idiot. The Stop Killing Games initiative
if you bought Fallout 76, you never got a disc. You got a piece of paper.
Argued that it wasn't really...
And not in the disc. It literally had a code on the disc.
Legal. It was very weird for
the paper disc.
Live service games to just shut down like that without giving players an alternative. With Ross Scott on his YouTube channel saying that games as a service is fraud. One thing to note is that this initiative wasn't forcing publishers or developers to keep game servers online forever. What it simply wanted was to have a way to access.
So basically what they wanted to do is allow people to make private servers. Like, people do have private servers of GTA 5. So technically they could have offline, even if GTA 5 shut down tomorrow, there will be private servers you could join with GTA 5. All they're asking that, it just means Ubisoft couldn't charge everything because they're gonna not get the credit cards anymore. But if they ever return, they could turn the server back on and everyone could come back if there's enough possibility.
access these games after the servers went offline by allowing players to host.
And that means Ubisoft does not have to spend a single penny. They just want to terminate it because they're just buttheads.
Their own servers, for example, arguing that if taking games down like this would become the norm, then way too many games would become lost media, because that's what The Crew and Concord are right now, lost media. It was classified as a European Citizens Initiative, in which European citizens could sign it, and if it would reach 1 million signatures, then it would be talked about in the European Parliament. It would initially get a couple 100,000 signatures until a certain person would speak out against it in the most aggressive way possible. Of course, we're talking about our good old friend, Pirate Software. He felt so passionate about this topic that he made 2 videos about it, very shortly after it launched in the summer of 2024. Now look, we're not going to watch the whole video, I just want to show you the first 10 seconds. Let's do this.
Hi, my name is Jason Thor Hall, also known as Pirate Software Online. I've been in the gaming industry for about 20 years. I used to work at Blizzard Entertainment, then Amazon Game Studios, and now I am
This what sent his career into the dumpster.
my own studio, Pirate Software, by the same name. It's an indie studio, and I've been...
There's just something about this guy, man. I don't know. I can't explain it. Anyway.
He does not want his game. If this law goes through, even his game has to be activated, even if the Steam goes down.
He worked at Blizzard Entertainment for around 7 years, guys, and he vehemently opposed every single thing this initiative stood for, arguing that it would kill live service games and kill gaming in general, completely misunderstanding what this initiative was even about, and using his massive influence, which was still present at the time, to kill it instantly. I want to be clear here. In this video, he tries his best.
He ended up destroying his career.
As to appear level-headed, professional even, echoing the genius that you first saw in his YouTube shorts at the end of 2023. But on his stream, oh my god, this guy was a mess. These are the very nice things he had to say about this initiative. Watch.
Shit, now this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit.
You're cold as shit.
It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to. That is awful.
That worked fantastic for you. Your channel is almost dead or dying, and Stop Killing Games has got the people who are running the politicians happy about. And now since the politician wants it, you can guarantee voting is going to be part of it too. So the politician wants to push it through so he can get another year.
Awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude.
And so you know this is going to come to America.
No. Eat my entire ass. The level of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12
because I can guarantee it, some government people will want to stay with it. And yeah, this is going to be a major thing.
hours. This
No, yeah, according to him, this is the worst thing that's ever been made by humanity. Like, this is like, oh my god, you'd think that this is actually going to end gaming as we know it. But it's not. It's seeking to do the opposite.
shit sucks. That's a really stupid ass move. That's an incredibly stupid ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit then. I dropped the mask entirely.
In his very professionally level-headed video, he says this.
It's incredibly important to me that we keep making games and that the next generation has the tools to do so that our medium doesn't die out.
But that's exactly what Stop Killing Games wants to do. The whole point of this initiative is for this medium to not die by allowing so many games to become lost media. And yet, this is what Pirate Software was saying about this whole thing.
I think live service games getting sunsetted is fine. I've always thought that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, at this point, just no comment. When he would start receiving quite a bit of backlash, of course now there's more dislikes, but when it first released, I'd say 30% of the like to dislike ratio was dislikes. He made this pinned comment, outlining some points that don't really help his very aggressive reaction that came out of nowhere, and then ended it with a quotation saying he won't even talk to
He does not understand nothing.
Ross, who was the founder of Stop Killing Games, to which he replied with, correct. I think his position is disingenuous due to his comments about how this could be pushed through government. It's a bad direction, removes validity for what the initiative is trying to do, portrays the process in an incorrect manner, and just builds sensationalism. Thinking that kind of language is okay puts him squarely on my not worth it to talk to list, as there are others that could have a more productive conversation. So what he's talking about is this slide here. This one slide in the entirety of this initiative is the only reason why he refuses to talk to Ross. It says, reasons the European Citizens Initiative could pass. Politicians like easy wins. Politicians mostly don't care about video games. The laws.
Politicians care about video games. They care about some of them have grandkids and they want them to. I got something out here. That's just my pill container.
Was already unclear on this practice. The initiative is in line with other consumer policies. It's a diversion from more serious topics. Now, according to Ross, this was a half-truth, half-joke slide. And I think that's how a normal person would view it. I don't think it was tone deaf in any way, but it angered the hell out of Pirate Software for some reason. I don't know why. Some people theorize that it's because he got close to
Yeah, he got too close to the sun.
Ludwig, and together they founded the games publisher Off-Brand Games. When the Stop Killing Games initiative came out, they were in the process of releasing a live service multiplayer game. So there was definitely some sort of a conflict of interest here. Regardless, this European Citizens Initiative had a 1-year deadline. It would be automatically closed on the 31st of July 2025. And by the end of June, it barely had 500,000 signatures, which meant it had no hope of ever reaching 1 million, or so it seemed. This was until Accursed Farms, the channel owned by Ross Scott, would release a video titled The End of Stop Killing Games. It's an hour-long video that kind of reminds us what this initiative is about, how we got here, the feedback and criticism he's received, the changes he's made, and of course the majority of the video is him responding to Pirate Software's very aggressive criticisms. Most of the clips of Pirate Software crashing out over the Stop Killing Games initiative were actually from this video. Ross addresses every single one and ended up, whether intentional or not, making Pirate Software look like a clown who had no idea what he was talking about. This video almost has 1 million views, and many people watched it. Some of those people happen to be way bigger content creators than Pirates.
And since I watched his video, if you wonder, he has over 2 million views already and it's only been out for 5 days. Give him some likes and subs, and also me, because I'm trying to do other content. That stuff is in the wings right now.
Software. And seeing that this very important initiative was very close to failure, tried their best to bring as many people as possible to sign it. For example, Moist Critical talked about it in his videos at over.
And if you wonder, is editing, you just can't see it.
3.5 million views. Hell, even Jacksepticeye talked about it on his second channel, and the video sitting at over 1 million views. People understood that this initiative wasn't just a good thing for video games, it was integral to ensure its survival for the future. Hell, even Minecraft creator Notch had something to say about it, tweeting, "Hey guys, just got back to gaming after a brief break. Wait, why is there a Nepo baby doubling down over there?" Adding, "If buying a game is not a purchase, then pirating them is not theft." This truly solidified the position of Pirate Software in the Hall of Fame of lolcows. It was undeniable at this point.
And Notch knows what he's doing.
His stupidity had made an entire movement succeed, just purely on the basis of him being so unaware of what was going on. He lacked the most basic form of self-awareness. And thanks to that,
he's done a really good job on this video.
The Stop Killing Games initiative not only reached 1 million signatures, but is currently at over 1.3 million in overdrive.
And he even got a senator basic on the side of them.
About to reach 1.4 million any time now.
And that guy's worth even more than 10 or 32 million votes is himself.
With the UK petition reaching double the signatures required. You even had a vice president of the European Parliament voicing support for this initiative and signing the petition himself while urging other Europeans to do the same.
That alone is 2 million votes.
This initiative gained so much traction that a publisher group full of the biggest publishers on the planet, including EA and Ubisoft for example, responded saying that these proposals would curtail developer choice and that it was unsustainable.
It'll stop them from doing what we want.
And unfeasible. In other words, they were very scared that this could actually pass. Being a gamer myself, I wish this initiative the best of luck.
Me too. I want this to happen. Means we can finally play old games which decided to be nuked. Like Concord. They have to restart Concord. At least give us the ability to run it.
In Parliament, and I truly hope it passes.
And Nintendo's gonna hate it. Because they're gonna have to turn back on the old stuff they turned off. Like, oh, the old eShop? they're going to have to turn that back on, even though they can just run it on a tiny little computer, or at least ability for us to download the stuff. I mean, it means we can finally get games back. I don't know if they could need to have put a tiny computer on it. They did once with the Blizzard's first mount, and it almost fried, far as I know. They weren't expecting as many downloads. It took me an hour to download the first mount that was on sale because there was that many people clicking buy.
When I buy a digital game, I'd like to know that I actually own it and that it won't be taken away from me at any given moment. But while this initiative was gaining a lot of positive attention, Pirate Software, on the other hand, was gaining all the negative attention. He's currently bleeding over 10,000 subscribers daily on his YouTube channel and has currently lost a massive chunk of his viewership on Twitch. I mean, look at these numbers. He used to...
That's cratering. He's almost dead. Any money he had to spend on his people, that I heard he was paying his actual people a living wage, some of them, and they're not going to be able, he won't be able to pay them. He's losing too much money.
Peak 15,000 concurrent viewers and is now down to 5,000. That's
That's barely anything.
third of where he used to be 7 months ago. And that's what...
And not mentioning now, Twitch money is dead. So if he's just relying on subscribers to watch ads, that's like pennies on a dollar for a million ads. Because they're at garbage at this time because of Hassan Piker. He's basically drilled it into the ground. That's why I don't stream on Twitch. What's the point? I'm too tiny.
Without mentioning all the followers he's been losing. I mean, look at this. Minus 50,000 just in July.
And some of them are whales. Guys who will run a game by themselves. You know, 2% of the people will keep a game running. The rest are free to plays, and 2% will bring in most of the money.
Additionally, this renewed scrutiny has prompted many YouTubers, like Coding,
and whatever the biggest money thing on the game is, the whale will buy at least once a week to once every 2 or 3 days.
Jesus, and Slop News Network to analyze the code that he writes on stream, concluding that a child, a literal toddler, can probably do a better job.
Oh, I saw the code. You look at a different video of mine. Oh my god, my nephew can do better. Anyone could do better. I could probably spend a month and I could do better. That's how bad the code is.
Seriously, this is the gift that keeps on giving. Because, of course, instead of just apologizing, taking a step back, taking the L for once, admitting you made a mistake, maybe taking some advice that Dr. K gave you, he would triple down or quadruple down, I guess I can't even keep track at this point, and make this post, saying the most interesting narrative is that my video somehow killed the initiative. This graph shows that the initiative already had a downward trend in interest when my videos dropped. My videos do not seem to have had any impact on the movement at all, making me
it only skyrocketed.
The villain did though. Best of luck with your next steps. So at this point, I can't help but be impressed how much he's willing to die on hills that don't matter. People aren't even tracking cumulative signatures and daily signatures. They just understood that this initiative is worth fighting for, it's very important for the longevity of games as a medium, and that you...
That's funny. He said it down here. He thought he was dropping it down. Actually, he said it here, and then everyone picked it up and blasted it through the roof.
With your massive platform, not only criticized it very aggressively, thinking that this was going to be an easy win that made you out to be a genius, but urged all your audience, all your strong community to not sign it when they were telling you to sign it initially. That's how you even found out about the initiative. He would then later tweet this, saying, I am no longer working at Off-Brand Games. People were attacking all of the games we were publishing and trying to mass review bomb them. You can dislike the things I say, but this kind of behavior is unhinged. Learned a lot there, accomplished a lot, hope they succeed regardless, loved those dudes and loved working with them.
He did not even code there.
Hope they keep cooking. Ludwig would reply to this, saying, stop killing games is a good initiative, but a few bad actors review bombed / harassed developers of the games we support at Off-Brand Games. Appreciate Thor stepping down for the betterment of the devs and their games, to which he would get community noted. The note said, Rivals of Either 2 has not been review bombed. Verifying this is as easy as opening the Steam page and looking at the graph of reviews. And if we go to the game, scroll down, and look at the graph that shows review trend,
there is none. That's not review bombing. That's normal. I hate the game or I love the game. And it looks like they love it.
we can very clearly see.
And their software game has been basically destroyed because it actually is a piece of junk.
That there's no review bombing going on. If anything, there's positive bombing. Look at all these positive reviews in June. But hey, anything to be the victim, right? In fact, the guy became such a victim that I think he started losing his mind. He started comparing his current situation with the Stop Killing Games initiative to Coney 2012. I mean, dude, no, I'm sorry. This is a full-fledged, fully developed and evolved lolcow. There's no way you can say this while being self-aware. It's impossible. And after months of complaining about people brigading and harassing him, he does the same exact thing to Coding Jesus. He would leave a comment on his code review video and would then link his comment to his chat so that they can go upvote it in an effort to ratio the video itself. Like, how petty is that? Come on, man.
Do you make a link to it? You have to click on the little 6 hours edited, so that doesn't seem to do it. Oh, do I have to right click on this and then copy link address and then do that? Is that what does this?
That's extremely petty. I mean, you should do it on merit, not I want to be petty.
Ah, it does highlighted comment. There we go. Boop. There's my comment on it. Enjoy. And I also have a whole argument with a whole bunch of people in the replies in there so they can see what's going on with it. I talked to them through the entire thing of why I did that all in an array, because that is not normal practice to do that, and it's specifically so that you guys can reverse engineer the game and solve the ARG. Sometimes doing bad practice has meaning, which is...
It's called being lazy.
Whatever, man. He later deleted this VOD because this literally breaks YouTube TOS. This breaks every aspect of terms of service when it comes to brigading and harassment. I mean, at this point, can this get any worse? Yes. He'd be asked about his opinion when it comes to Stop Killing Games finally reaching 1 million signatures, and he said, "I'm going to be honest with you. I hope that your initiative gets everything that you asked for, but nothing you wanted, and I'll leave it there." See, if I was 12 years old, I would have probably thought this was really cool, but now it's just edgy beyond cringe. But listen, as much as this was a ridiculous roller coaster ride on the Lolcow Express, someone did end up asking him, "Hey man, would you consider making an apology video, setting everything straight? Because you know what, this is still..."
There's no point in apologizing for the wall thing, because that's their fault.
Still salvageable. You can still redeem yourself. And here's what he had to say.
Put up a video saying you were wrong with every situation and the internet move on.
Some situations, it's his fault.
I am not doing that. I don't give a fuck.
Well, his channel is dying, but I would apologize for some stuff, but when it comes down to the World of Warcraft one, that's theirs. It was newbies who decided I'm the team lead and I am God. So that's a newbie decision. If you're team lead making the decision, it's your fault. If you were in a raiding guild, they would throw you out in a half a second. They won't even bother. They would keep Pirate because he actually knows what he's doing. If you're a newbie, they would shut you out there like you're nothing. But then them guys pretty much know their class inside and out. They probably dream of playing their class in bed and spend morning to night playing games like I usually do. I know Warframe a little too well now.
Yeah, simply bend the knee and lie about how you feel, and everyone will stop bullying you. That's a great idea, dude. Yeah, no.
This guy is so...
And don't swear. Even I don't barely ever swear. I'm just too used to it.
Oh, hopeless, man. Now, I will say this because I'm sure this will appear in the comments. Yes, I'm aware that Pirate Software is a massive furry, and I'm also aware that he was legally married to someone, and during that marriage, he got in contact with one of the Kickstarter backers of Earthbound, the game he's working on, and started a very inappropriate 18+ relationship with them while being married. Yes, he committed adultery.
Okay, I do not know what to say on that part. Personally, I would have already stopped on that, but that basically means they can met up face to face, and it's really hard. But some people like wearing fur costumes. It's just a costume, that's all it is. But I recommend not actually doing that because that's pretty stupid when you're in marriage.
The reason why I didn't mention this in the video is because it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. If he had just apologized during the WoW Classic incident, this coming out wouldn't have done anything to him, because guess what? Most of these messages involved 18+ roleplay, but more specifically, furry roleplay. Yes, they would literally say to themselves, pets you, nuzzles you, plays with your tail. and then get, more 18 plus into it. Yes, most people couldn't even read one page of chat logs because of how cringy it is. So I'm so convinced it wouldn't have done anything to his reputation. It's meaningless to talk about. But if you're interested, you can check out this video by Fearful Tears titled Pirate Software, the most delusional Twitch streamer. Look, Pirate Software is a lesson not just in content creation, but in quite literally anything. Normal people make mistakes, and geniuses make mistakes too. We're all human. Admitting that you make a mistake isn't you admitting that you have a weakness. No, on the contrary, never admitting that you're wrong is a weakness in itself because it shows how insecure you are, how fragile of an ego you have. And it'll only make people want to avoid you. I mean, what's the point? Pirate Software is the stupid person's definition of a genius, and he managed to ride that wave for a little while, but now the party's over.
Now he rode right into the sunset, right into the sun, and pretty much killed his career. Never lie, guys. Don't lie. You're gonna get found out. Once you lie too much, next second you know it's gonna bite you in your rear end. Because karma will come back and bite you again.
And he only has himself.
And he has karma on his bad side because of what he's done. Lying about his coding alone was the karma. He first gone up, and then it came crashing down.
To blame.
And not mentioning trying to go after Stop Killing Games was the part that triggered it.
Still be a content creator, he'll still have a sizable audience, but he'll never be able to touch the.
He built the bad karma up when he showed all that stuff, and then he came crashing down once he went after Stop Killing Games. That's when it activated.
Sky, like he did at the end of 2023, and they're never coming back unless he finally humbles his dumbass. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the entire video up until the end.
Please go to the description and like and subscribe to this video, and also come to me and like and subscribe. See you next time when this video is done.
Really appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next video fairly soon. Yeah, I love you so much.